Hey everyone, Sean here. Today is not a vlog about Celebration or about the shows that I'm going to be directing and seeing auditions for tomorrow, which I'm excited about. I kind of wanted to muse a little bit about somebody who I kind of consider like my absolute idol. Somebody who I try to take lessons from his life where I can and learn everything that I can about him. No, it's not Gene Wilder. You know, that would make sense. But I love Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder is one of my absolute favorite actors, but that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about a very well-known frontman for a rock band. He lived a life publicly. I haven't. I'm trying to get my hands on some biographies about him that I think is a very important one for the LGBT community to take away from, and most specifically from the gay men. Somebody that gay men can look up to and respect. I'm talking about Freddie Mercury of Queen. I've been obsessed with this band since I was very, very little. I think I can remember, as far back as maybe being 3 years old, singing along to all of their songs. So it's a lifelong obsession. Me and Queen. I've listened to literally everything that they have ever released. All of it. I own all of it on digital. I'm working on getting the vinyls together. Absolutely love Queen. And part of the reason that I love Queen, I think has to do a lot with the energy that Freddie Mercury brought to it, but I think it was just the group of guys themselves too. I think that they, and most specifically Freddie Mercury, were just, right in line with their era in the 80s. But playing this line of what it meant to be a man, to be masculine, and showing that even if you incorporate feminine elements, you can still be a man. And I think this is part of I love Rocky Horror Picture Show, and one of the reasons that I love the character of Frankenfurter is because he is a masculine character. He has these trappings that we associate with feminism, not the political movement, but feminism, the old ideal. But he is an incredibly masculine character, I think, in an older sense of masculinity and femininity. So one of the reasons that I really, really try to emulate what I can about Freddie Mercury and take lessons from his life is I think, in my opinion, solely in my opinion, he was able to, like I said, ride this line between masculinity and femininity, and I think help show, young gay men that you can be, you can be yourself and still fit in kind of everywhere, in my opinion. And that probably sounds weird to a lot of people who don't know me personally. Not only am I gay, but when I was younger, I went to 5 different elementary schools. I lived in 2 different states in 3 different cities to go to school. 4 different cities, catch all right now. And then I went to 1 middle school and I went to 2 high schools. So not only am I gay, not only am I other in that respect, I have been other my entire life, because I've never been anywhere. I've never fit in everywhere. So a lot of my life has been trying to figure out how I fit into different places. What is Sean's role in different places? And for me, not for everybody, and this goes against a lot of, I think, current ideas of what it means to be queer, and especially a gay man, I've always wanted to fit in with the largest possible crowd. And I think that comes because of how much I moved around when I was younger. So for me, Freddie Mercury showed me that, yes, I can fit into a crowd that is more monotone. Let's just throw that out there. But that I can also take my moments and within that crowd not be monotone and to push myself out there. But to also be able to fit into a crowd that is my crowd, the queer crowd. And I can be everything that I want to be, no matter where I'm at. And that to be true to myself, I think, God, this is really just like, to be true to myself, I think it is important for me to have aspects of myself at all times. And to know when is an appropriate moment to let one aspect shine more than another, and when is an inappropriate moment to let one aspect shine more than another. That probably sounds a little strange, but it makes sense in my head. And what I mean by that is, like, I tend to act more gay around a larger gay crowd or in the theater community, because it's a place that I'm totally comfortable with showing that aspect of my personality in totality. When I'm out in public, I'm a little more reserved. I'm a little more reserved by nature in general if I don't know you. But that's the thing. If I don't know you, I don't want you to really know me. I want to get to know you first on a level where you're not going to make preconceived notions about myself based on something that I have no control over, which is my, my sexuality. Like, it is what it is. One of the three things in life I have no control over: my sexuality, my skin color, my gender. They are what they are, because that is how I am hardwired up here. So I try to lessen how you are going to judge me when you first meet me by being more reserved. And that, again, that comes from, for so long, having been other. And I went through a period where I went kindergarten and half of first grade were at one school, St. Peter's Elementary in St. Peter's, Missouri. The other half of first grade was at Daniel Boone Elementary out in New Melle, Defiance in Missouri. And then third and fourth grade, second, third, no. Gosh, I'm trying to remember all this. Second, third, and fourth grade were at Harvest Ridge Elementary in St. Charles, Missouri. Fifth grade was at South Elementary and Salem Lakes Elementary in Chesapeake, Virginia, two different areas. Middle school and up to half of my sophomore year in high school were at William Monroe Middle and High School in Standardsville, Virginia, in Greene County. I lived Ruckersville, Quinqui. If you know Thomas Jefferson, you know Ruckersville, if you really delved into his life. And then, from the latter half of sophomore year to graduation, I went to St. Charles High School in St. Charles, Missouri. I've always kind of been in this other state. I've always, and moving around so much, especially young, moving around so much, we all crave those connections and those relationships with other human beings. It's just a natural state of being. I wasn't allowed to have those because I was being pulled so many times in so many places. When I got to Virginia, to middle school, I met my best friend at the time, Isaac. And Isaac used to make fun of me all the time, and I would make fun of him right back. It was probably the first time that I had a relationship with another human being where they were able to pull me out of my shell very quickly. So we met each other. We became really good friends because we were both brand new to the area. We were both other, and we were other together. To my knowledge, he's straight. I'm gay. He was black. I was white. We were other in every way that you could be other in the middle of redneck Virginia. But he would poke some fun at me because if I didn't have anything to do, my head was in a book. I read so many books. When every time the new Harry Potter novels came out, my head was down in those books, and I read the entire series at the time, and I think it was right before the fourth book came out, in like 3 days. And he was like, dude, I like reading too. You're crazy. I think how many books did I read? I read so many. I was going through my head the other day, and I was just thinking about all the books that I've read in my life, and it's like there's a lot of fantasy series that I'm trying to pull back, but this has gone way off. Anyways, so that is why, for me, Freddie Mercury has kind of been, in a way for me, an idol and a comfort, because he's shown me a way that I can stand out from the crowd and yet not stand out from the crowd. Because if you've never seen an interview with Freddie Mercury, you should totally watch them, because he is completely different than what you would expect of him based on his onstage personality. He's quiet and he's reserved, and he answers questions, but he doesn't really talk a lot. I've seen him, smoking cigarettes and drinking beers and just having fun and being him, but always being him and being true to himself. And I think it's something that I really do admire in him. And like I said, he taught me how to walk this line of what I have, which is, I am a man, and I want to present as a man, but there are things about me that are more, in line with femininity, in terms of like wearing earrings, and I've often, confession time, thought about wearing makeup or wearing, higher heels, or I'd love to paint my nails at some point. Things that I've never actually done outside of being on stage or for a Halloween costume, but things that do appeal to me, and things that I have a want of doing. So yeah, that's kind of Sean in a nutshell that just happened, apparently. So thanks for watching. If you watched this long, I should have another video about auditions for First Run Theater up within the next couple of days, because we got 2 days of auditions happening, and then we should be finished blocking Celebration tonight, so look forward to a video maybe about that and getting all of Act 1 blocked. So, alright guys, have a good night.